Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and welcome to this series of interviews of the Africa Development Network. I'm joined today in our Toronto head office by two amazing people. And today we're going to talk about Africa Development Network, its vision, what it's actually completed in terms of activities, initiatives, but also we're going to talk about the future. And I want to let my two guests introduce themselves. I'll start by you, Andre. Hi.
Yeah, hi, Eric, and thank you for welcoming us. We are very happy to be here in our new location for the African people and all the Afro-descent people. So this is your location. This is where you can come and you can create your dreams and live your dreams, right? I'm Andre Gallois-Zambou. I'm one of the founder of the Africa Development Network, and I'm also the board director of that organization. I'm also a community leader, and I serve on many board of direction of community organization, but also I'm an entrepreneur. So I try to bring solution to some problem that we can face as Afro descent here in the diaspora, but also on our continent.
We have the time to talk more in depth about your role and your implication with ADN in a few seconds. Just for me, the time to welcome our second guest. Hi, Michael.
Thanks, Eric, and thanks, Andre. Great introduction. Happy to be here. And yeah, you know, Andre said it. This is home. This is where we want entrepreneurs to feel comfortable, to innovate, to share ideas, to collaborate. And we look forward to meeting them here. And I think this is a great space. People will get to see a tour, hopefully, in just a few moments. But it's a nice open concept area where we can really get some ideas flowing. And I really look forward to greeting the entrepreneurs that ADN will have within its network very shortly here in this space. Thank you.
We have the time to dive into your role with this organization, Michael. But again, my first question is really to find out from you, Andre Gallois-Zambou. You, as one of the founding members of this organization, but also the CEO, what was the vision? What prompted you to create ADN? What does ADN stand for?
Yeah, ADN is Africa Development Network. So it's a network. So it's simply a network of Africans, Afro-descent, and friends of Africa who unite their energy in solving problems that we can see in the diaspora and also on our continent. Because we saw that in our community we have a lot of potential. We have a lot of people who have ideas, but they don't necessarily have the right support to carry those ideas. It can be in terms of training, it can be in terms of networking, it can be also in terms of financial resources. So our role is to bring together people who think that they can bring something to our continent, right? They can be African, but they can also be friends of Africa, and put them together around ideas that can be the new innovation for our continent and for the diaspora.
So you talk about the notion of full of potential, Africans being full of potential, but also the importance of having the resources to really succeed. So now, Michael, my question to you as the interim executive director, how do you come into play? What is your role in shaping all these success stories that we're talking about here?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's a really good question, Eric. And I mean, I appreciate the insight that Andre has given, because, you know, we have to look at this as a grand scale project that is just in kind of its, you know, incubation phase to speak about incubation. I think it's really important that we bring that up. And you know, executive director, that's still kind of a new sound to me. It really is something that kind of rings nice in your ear when you first hear it. But I really am humbled to be here and to be with this organization, and I know that you know, what's really interested me about ADN is the potential of the organization, the partnerships that have already been fostered within the ADN network, And I just look forward to working with FedDev and other partners within the ADN network to foster those connections, to foster co-opetition too. It's kind of a bit of a term that gets thrown around these days, but it's that we cooperate, but iron sharpens iron. And we need to make sure that we're working with our partners to bring out the best in each other, and sometimes a little healthy competition is important in that regard as well. So we welcome this whole Black ecosystem project that FedDev has given to us. There's numerous partners around the table that have received funding, and we look forward to working with every single one of them. We think every single organization has a value add to bring to the table. And as executive director, that's my vision, is to bring all these partners together, to take the vision that the executive that the board of directors has bestowed upon me as an executive director, and to really see that through from A to Z and from beginning to end, and to have those day-to-day conversations with the partners. So if we talk about vision, that's mine. That's my grain of salt that I bring to the table every single day with this organization, and I look forward to seeing that through over the next 4 years as we look at the implementation of this project and the different parameters, the different partners, and the timeline as well.
So both of you did mention the funding aspect, and I know for a fact that you recently received a grant of over 800,000. How is this grant going to help and shape the entrepreneurship in the African communities here in Canada and abroad?
Yeah, that makes me laugh, because when people hear $800,000, they think it's a lot of money, right? But if you take one project manager, how does that cost? So it's a lot of money too, right? So I just want to pinpoint the fact that this is not a lot of money. This is money that we ask in order to create an ecosystem for Black entrepreneurs, not to give direct support, financial direct support to those entrepreneurs, but to help them growing, to help them maturing their ideas, to help them finding the right partners, to help them understanding what are their needs and where they can find those support, and to bring on board all the members of the ecosystem that can help those entrepreneurs. We have a second part of the project that consists of finding the right source of funding to fund directly those entrepreneurs. We want to create a kind of Afro-descent fund that is designated for supporting Black entrepreneurs. So this is phase 2 of our project. For this specific phase, what we want to see is to be able to give numbers. How many entrepreneurs, Black entrepreneurs, do we have here in Toronto, for example? How many Black entrepreneurs do we have across Ontario and also in Quebec in phase 1, and then in the rest of the country? What are their needs? Where are their business? What are they doing? What are their partners? And how can we help them? Now, we want to bring those numbers to our different partners and say, hey, Desjardins, for example, or RBC, or other bank that we have out there. Those are the needs that our community have. Those are the needs that our partner, our different entrepreneurs have. How can you support? We want to bring those kind of data also to other type of organization that can better help those Black entrepreneurs. So we're working with a lot of partners now. One of them is the Cooperative Council of Ontario, who help us in governing this project, in putting structure around this project, and in making sure that we are creating good foundation, not just for the 4 years to come, but for a very long time for Black entrepreneurs.
Michael, I want you to sit a little bit on this vision that has been elaborated by Andre, but also to think critically. And I want you to be very sincere with me. When you think about, when you listen to all this vision and all these goals and projects that he's actually talking about, do you think it's achievable within the next 4 years? And I also wanted to stress a little bit about the operational aspect of what you're going to do.
It's a great question, Eric. And I mean, I would just say that, you know, and I've said and I've said again, you know, Andre's passion and vision for this project, the Black Ecosystem Project, is really what brought me to ADN, and really what continues to kind of nourish my passion every single day, is to work with the quality players that we have around the table. And you know, with that, I want to bring up the fact that ADN is the sum of its parts. It really is. It's a network fundamentally, and a network is its members. And so the members that we engage with every single day, we need to make sure that they're the right ones, and that we are giving them the right tools to help us in the way that we need to succeed in this Black Ecosystem Project. I'd like to thank our partners, the ones that we've been working with already, Desjardins, FedDev, CCO. They've all been absolutely tremendously supportive in implementing this project. And I want to say to the communities, you know, we're an interesting organization because we work in the Francophone sphere predominantly, but we also work in the Anglophone sphere. And I don't want people to forget that element of bilingualism that we bring to the table as partners. I think that that's really important. You know, the African nations which we represent within our network, and the African communities that we represent here in Canada as well, a lot of them are bilingual. And as we know, being a country, bilingualism brings such a richness to the table of culture, of engagement, of ideas, innovation. And I think that is, you know, if we look at ADN, that's our competitive advantage. And I really want to dig into that further so that we can see, okay, just how far we can take this in terms of impact, of engaging this bilingual, Francophone, Anglophone community, being the bridge between the two, and bringing those ideas together. I really think that's what ADN has to do here. You know, I'm switching gears a little bit here. I'm someone who loves to like storytell and share anecdotes and things like that. You know, I had the pleasure of accompanying and consulting a Francophone newcomer entrepreneur in the Hamilton area who is from the Ivory Coast, and fundamentally, you know, his experience and his education was in cashew farming, and he wanted to come to Canada and he wanted to start his cashew import-export business uniquely from the Ivory Coast. And one of the things that he brought to my attention was the fact that Ivory Coast is an extremely agriculturally rich nation, and that they have very, very good soil there, and it's very predisposed to agriculture of cashew. So, you know, it was really interesting having this conversation with him, because I know that there are other nations around the world that farm cashews. You know, you have Thailand, Vietnam, India. It's like, why Ivory Coast, right? Not only do they have that French connection, but the thing is that they really do have that competitive advantage, and they produce an organic product that is superior. So, you know, working through all of that with him and being like, okay, you know, how do we portray this? How do we market it to the broader community in English and French? How do we present that, right? And how do we go to the big players like Loblaws, Bulk Barn, and really pitch this case to them that Ivory Coast has this competitive advantage in the production of this product? And so, you know, we need to do that, but we need to do that for all entrepreneurs, and we need to quantify how we're doing that as well. It can't just be these anecdotal experiences left, right, in Toronto, Durham, you know, Hamilton, Montreal. You know, we need to bring all of those together, and that's why ADN is so important, because the work that we're doing brings all those entrepreneurs together and leaves a trace, hopefully forever, is my vision. That we leave a trace forever of those entrepreneurs, their vision, their hard work, and where that hard work brought them, so that we can inspire generation after generation of Black entrepreneurs across Canada and across the world that Canada is a good place to do business, and that here's where they should come and here's where they should bring their ideas, because we are open for business.
That's really an interesting and inspiring story that you did share about this person from Ivory Coast and how successful they were in working with you as a network. So my question to you now, and certainly for those who are listening to you right now, what are the upcoming initiatives that have been put in place? Because we're already in 2022. I'm a little bit concerned that if you're actually just telling me all these beautiful stories and there's nothing in for me, then I'm going to certainly question what is the of ADN. So what do you have for me?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's such a good point. We are in 2022, and a lot of this work is, just getting off the ground. And, we're talking about stories of, racial reconciliation and Black empowerment. That needs to happen in all realms, not only economic, but cultural as well. And the work that ADN can do to kind of work within that context is to provide at the very base, in my opinion, pre-incubation, incubation, acceleration, and even reactivation services. And that's what we're hoping to do with this FedDev money for the community. And so, for those who, I'm throwing words around, what does it mean? It means entrepreneurs may not know they're entrepreneurs, or they may have an idea, but they may not have the tools by which they can become true entrepreneurs with a successful business. And so pre-incubation takes those people with that great idea and gives them the tools by which they can turn into incubators of that idea. And what does it mean to be an incubator of that idea? It means sitting down with experts in front of your computer and writing out that business plan. Really putting pen to paper and saying, this idea has potential and I want to see it through. And that's what we're going to do with the incubation phase with the ADN. We're going to bring all these partners together. We're going to bring all these great ideas together. We're going to put pen to paper together and we're going to say, this is what we want to see. And then we accelerate it. We put the foot on the gas and we say, this idea, we're going to see it through from beginning to end. We want to see it as a business. We are going to constitute it and we are going to build the clientele of this business. And then the last step is reactivation. This was really interesting because it kind of came out of a pilot project that we did with FedDev in the first place,
right,
where we said, there's these organizations that go through business cycles, growth, maturity, decline, and then sometimes they decline and they become dormant. How do we reactivate those businesses where the fundamentals are good, but we just need the right people in the right places? Well, a network is the ideal place to put those people in the right places and put those pieces into place so that we can re-achieve growth within that business cycle for that organization. Not to mention the fact that we're dealing with a lot of intergenerational problems here as well. We're dealing with immigration and the challenges that brings. It's really important that we address economic development and business development within that context to ensure that everyone has an equal opportunity to thrive. And we need to make sure that our tools answer those needs from a community standpoint.
That's a very good answer to my question. I just want to turn now to you, André Gallo, to talk about the context in which we're actually having this conversation. A while ago in my introductory notes, I mentioned that we are in your head office here in Toronto. Can you talk a little bit about how you got to acquire this space? But also, how are you going to utilize the space to meet the needs of the African descent population, but also for people who are far away from Toronto?
Yeah, so this is a pan-Canadian project, right? We are just in phase one, where the focus is Ontario first, so Toronto and Ottawa. And then the second phase is going to be Montreal, and we're going to slowly go into other regions.
So you plan to expand?
Yeah. So with our partner, the Corporation Council of Ontario, we were able to secure this location where we have many open spaces and where entrepreneurs can come and can have all those programs that Michael just described here. So we're going to have different cohorts of entrepreneurs coming here, and we're going to have many experts coming and giving them the information that they need and all the support that they need. We also want to use this space as an African space where people can come. Black organization can come. You may not have a meeting space, and you can contact us and we can arrange for you to have a meeting here. We want to have a consultation table where we can have all the leaders of our community coming together and trying to explain to us how we can better support the community, trying to explain to us who are those brilliant Africans that we have in their community and how can we support them. So we need to know who they are, where they are, and bring them here so that they can benefit from everything we are doing here. We also want to have networking events where we can have many components of our community. So from the community, within the community, but also friends of Africa who have some expertise, who can get together, network, and then produce a good idea or support good idea for our community. So it's a big vision, and we can thank our partner enough. We want to thank Desjardins as well, who is playing a big role in helping us in getting those spaces.
Thank you so much. And I certainly want you to expand a little bit on that, on the partnership that you've been able to establish, but also to talk about one thing very important in terms of the activities that are going to be launched in February, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Thank you very much for your question, Eric. And I mean, what I'm going to do here is if you're out there, put pen to paper and take note now, because you can hold me accountable for these deadlines here. And I'm going to launch a few of them out. We have some great activities coming up for the African Development Network. The first one being the 1st of February, we're going to have the launch of our French incubator Tracé Collectif. This is a CCO project where we're using their curriculum in order to be able to incubate French businesses here in Toronto, which is a really interesting opportunity because we're growing the francophone and bilingual economy here in Toronto. So really cool initiative, and that's really thanks to Desjardins that we're doing that. I know Andre had said it. I want to thank them too, because without them, we wouldn't have the space where we can accommodate Black entrepreneurs. So I think that's really important to add. The 1st of April, we are going to be launching our incubator, and that incubator is going to be in English and in French, and it's going to be a great entrepreneurial, economical, and cultural exchange experience for businesses seeking to develop their ideas. The 1st of November, we will be launching in Montreal, and the 1st of April, we will also be launching in Ottawa. So I know I jumped around a little bit there, but the dates that you need to be concerned with are the 1st of February, we're launching that incubator here in Toronto. The 1st of April, we're launching in Ottawa. And the 1st of November, we're launching in Montreal. And this is a 4-year project. So we're gonna pilot on those 3 places, but I really think the sky's the limit in terms of where we can go pan-Canadian. Because I know that this FedDev initiative, while centered on southwestern Ontario, we're looking at a Canadian Black ecosystem as well. We want to make sure everyone's included, that the expertise within the Black ecosystem is really felt, heard, and understood within this country. And I really hope that we can do that by this initiative and by this project that we're doing in collaboration with FedDev. The last date that I want to throw out there is on the 15th of February, we're going to be launching a consultation table. And this is going to be predominantly a French but also bilingual initiative to bring partners together across language and say, okay, what are our needs? And how can ADN, with this funding that we've received graciously by FedDev and the Black ecosystem at large, respond to those needs? And for that, we need to work with community leaders on the ground to understand what the fundamental needs are, because they've changed and they continue to change. And they'll be different in 4 years than they are today. So we need to make sure that as an organization, we're able to understand how those needs are evolving and respond to them and try to be proactive in the way that we approach them. So I look forward to working with a whole bunch of partners on this. I also understand that there is so much talent within the Black community that needs to be harnessed through this project. And that's why I want to stress the fact that I'm an interim executive director of this organization, and that the idea is that this organization harnesses that ability within the Black ecosystem to be able to manage this organization. And I look forward to being able to take a step back and watch that flourish and watch it grow. And I think that that's really important that we just acknowledge that around this table, that in 4 years, I will not be at the head, and I sure as hope not in 3 years that I'll be the head of this organization, and that I hope that someone is here to take my place, because as you can see, this is a big project, a lot of weight on my shoulders, a lot of responsibility, and it's excellent to share that responsibility and to make sure we have the right people in the right places.
But at the same time, we know that both of you and as well other members are up to the task. I know you did ask people who are listening to you right now to take some notes,
Yeah.
but I also want to ask you this quick question before we round up our conversation. Where can they find this information?
It's a great question, Eric. Thank you. So, I mean, anyone is welcome to send me an email. Contact at africadevelopmentnetwork.org. We are on Instagram, we're on social media, Facebook, Twitter. So we look forward to connecting with you there and getting into all sorts of debates about the development of the Black ecosystem, because I know there are differing opinions out there too. And we want to hear them all, because we're a network, that's what we are. And that's what we engage, is we want to engage our partners in their opinions and move forward on everything that everyone essentially brings to us, right? So I look forward to engaging with them there, coming in person to this space, Desjardins, in Toronto, coming to our space in Ottawa, in Montreal, or just zooming in with us too. With this pandemic, I understand that there's Zoom fatigue out there, but it's still the most accessible way to reach out to entrepreneurs around the world and to show them that Canada is this great place to do business and that we're building this Black ecosystem, which is such a powerful project. And I really hope that it really puts Canada on the international stage as a place for African entrepreneurs to come and do business, because I really think we're fostering a community in which is very conducive to that.
What a beautiful way to end our conversation today, Michael. André, I know for a fact that the next 4 years are going to be extremely busy. What do you have to say to people listening to you right now, especially community leaders?
Yeah, I want to thank community leaders who have been supporting ADN from day one. We have a bunch, and that's why we are making a lot of progress day after day. We also want to reach out to community leaders who may not know about the work that we do and tell them that this is home. This is home for them. So we are doing this because we want your community to be on the table, on that consultation table. We want them to be there. We want your idea to come. We want to know the best way of supporting your community. So we want you to voice the different concerns that you may have, or to bring to light the different idea that you see in your community, to show us where are those entrepreneurs that we need to support. So we need you, we need your idea. So join us here in our headquarters office, but also join us, send us emails, and try to be visible so that we can work together. We want to work with all the community leaders around the country. So this is something that we're doing already, but we want to stress that again. We also want to thank Investor Tower, because Investor Tower have been very, very supportive and very willing to support us and to help us growing. And we are currently also working with them. So if I start thanking partner, we won't end, because we have we are blessed to have that huge list of partners. And we just want to say a big thank you to all those partners. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing for ADN, you're making a difference.
Whatever you're doing for ADN, you're making a difference. This really concludes our conversation of today. I just want to thank you, Michael and Andre, for taking the time to discuss this with me, and I hope that you have a successful 2022, but hopefully in 4 years that you reap the fruit of this hard work. Do you have one thing to say?
Yeah, just one thing. That is so important to me and to ADN. We really, really need to celebrate success in our community. This is something so important to ADN. So in that regard, for ADN each day, we're going to have a kind of Black Entrepreneur Gala, where we're going to publicly recognize the entrepreneur in our community. And we're going to also be able to network with great partners so that we can accelerate their idea. So stay tuned, this is coming. This is something very important. And we are already working on that. Those networking events are happening right now and are gonna continue. But the gala is something so important that I wanted to stress on before we leave.
And celebrating the success is something that is so dear to your heart as well, Michael.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, I'm an economist by background, so I can't help but not raise the fact that, you know, as a partner of this organization, we want you because there is recognition to be had, there's a beautiful space here, and there's money on the table. So I would hope that any person seeing this would think hard and long about doing a partnership here with ADN. And I look forward to speaking with all of you. I look forward to a proposal and a partnership between our organizations. And I look forward to building this Black ecosystem together.
Now you know what to do. Ladies and gentlemen listening to me right now, you do have that marvelous opportunity to grow your business with the support of ADN, and you know how to reach them. It was a pleasure speaking with both of you, Andre and Michael,
Thank you.
and looking forward to celebrating those successes in the next future.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you so
Take care.
much.
Take care.